on there. However, it's not really out where it's moving very well far, let's see if I can get back on it there.
So she does have a kidney stone then?
She does have a kidney stone,
Okay.
but usually if they're just sitting in the kidney, they're not much consequence.
Okay.
If they get out and get in a tube that goes between the kidney and the bladder, that's when they really get the pain. It's when they're trying to pass it.
Right.
But the symptoms she presents with are kind of non-specific. I mean, nausea, vomiting, head spinning. That could be the flu. That could be a gallstone. That could be so they're not very specific.
Right.
So it's a little hard to know. Usually with the gallstones, that gallstone is kind of up in her gallbladder a ways.
Okay.
Usually if it's causing a really big problem, it'll be right down where the neck of the gallbladder. Although not always, because they can move in and back and forth and back and forth. So she actually has both. This one usually would require no treatment unless it moves, unless it gets out there. Now this one, the treatment for gallstones is typically to take their gallbladder out. But we always have to decide as far as surgical treatment. The other options are, like you say, stay very low fat and hope they're less symptomatic. So, so as we think about that, we take the patient mostly into account,
Right,
what's the advantage of doing surgery versus the risk we're going to do to her.
Right.
What's the likelihood we're going to make her feel better if we do an operation? So her symptoms don't sound particularly classic for gallbladder, although they could be.
Right.
Most common thing is to have pain right here.
Yeah,
you get pain right there.
She was she's not a person that just usually just sleeps in the bed all day.
Yeah.
And I came home from work. She was in the bed literally all day, and I'm like, "What's wrong, baby? I don't feel good."
Right.
And I'm like, "Well, tell me what's going on." I'm like, so I can decide, do you need to go to the hospital or you just need some rest?
Right.
And she told me she was vomiting and nauseated and her head spinning. And so I'm like, okay, let's go to the hospital.
Right.
And then they found it.
Right. So she definitely has gallstones, and there is a kidney stone, but it's like I said, it's not typically where it would cause symptoms, where it's up in the kidney up there. Those could have been there for years, or they could be fairly recent.
Right. It's
hard to know without previous imaging. The CAT scan imaging we have is all relatively recent, I think. I didn't see anything from way back there. Yeah, these are all in the last, little bit, couple of years at the most. So the real question comes, can we manage this with the gallstone part, which is what I did? Can we manage it with just staying on a low-fat diet and see how she does, versus should we be putting her through an operation? So the operation to do it is we do it laparoscopically usually, but it requires general anesthesia. And laparoscope takes 4 incisions on their belly, usually 3 about that big and 1 about that big. And we go in and remove their gallbladder because...
I'm just curious, how do they do that nowadays? I know back in the day they
it's done through small incisions, yeah. But it still requires general anesthetic. And where she's 88 years old, do we, or do we put her through that, or could she make it through her days with keeping the gallstone? And not treating gallstones has its own set of risks. You could get really sick. One can get blocked down there, and you can get an infected gallbladder. So it's just a little hard for me to know how much of this symptoms, if any, are related to her gallbladder, or could there be other things going on. But she definitely has gallstone.
So from what you see, do they look inflamed?
Doesn't look inflamed. That's why they didn't do it that night.
Okay.
Usually if it's inflamed or infected or the stone is stuck down there, they just do it.
Okay, because they sent her home this last time they didn't, but when they first realized it was gallstone, they came back and said, "Oh, we need to send her home with the week's antibiotics," and she took them. And
yeah, and typically even with the gallstone, we don't necessarily have to treat those with antibiotics. It's either surgery or stay really low fat and see how it goes.
Okay.
And so those are kind of the options. Both have some risk, obviously. Both have some benefit, obviously. The benefit of not operating is not operating.
Right.
So having just met her, I don't know,
all the details.
I mean, I think we could do it, and I think we could do it safely. On the other hand, pushing 90 years old, you know,
Right.
how much do you put them through, you know? So,
Right.
yeah, if, you know, if something that just keeps persisting and persisting, then maybe it's reasonable to do it. So, I guess you might want to wait and see how she does with her back, and
Yeah.
that seems to be the more acute problem.
Right.
Right,
That's the one that's
exactly.
hurting her.
And then if
Because
she
I was
gets-
even wondering about. I'm not thinking derogatory, but I was even thinking about canceling this point because her back's a
Yeah.
more issue right now.
Yeah, no, it's good to have
But I
it's good
wanted to
have this-
come
good
in
to have
and
this
see-
visit, so you know
See
what's going on.
what's going on.
Yeah, it's good to have this visit, so what's going on. So I think my suggestion right now, and it's a suggestion, we can do something different, but it would be to have her stay on a good balanced, low-fat diet, get her back fixed up, see how she's doing at that point.
Okay.
If these symptoms just keep recurring, then we could consider doing her gallbladder.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Does that sound reasonable?
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate your
Oh,
time,
you bet.
Doctor.
Yeah, my
I'm
pleasure.
recording this just because, you know, I'm the last one of 9 kids, so.
Oh yeah, you got to be responsible.
You're right.
Oh,
right.
good luck
So-
on that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate
So,
it.
but if she gets sicker or changes, we can always go ahead and do surgery then. But
Okay, right.
I think it would be best to let her get her back fixed up.
Yeah.
Nothing forcing us to move on it quickly.
Right.
That could change.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does that sound okay to you? I'm talking to these guys, but you're in charge.
What do you think? Hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
She knows
9
more
kids,
than
huh?
that. Yeah, 9.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Any of them live here, or all of them, or none of them?
No, none of us live here.
Oh, where do
I
you-
come from Orem.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
You got some in Orem, got some in Texas, some
Yeah.
in Linden, Provo.
Worm's not too far away.
It's not, yeah.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
Does that sound like a reasonable plan to all?
Yeah.
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 I mean, if this gets done, she keeps having these episodes,
Right.
we could consider doing the gallbladder.
Correct.
But, you know, to do the gallbladder, we have to lay her flat and everything with her back and everything. I think it'd be best to get that dealt with, and if she feels well enough,
Right.
might just watch the other, you know.
Correct.
But
Okay.
Doc, maybe you can. She's stubborn like I am. From while we're married.
Yeah.
She maybe if you're telling her that she'll see it on a different outlook. All the time want me to bring her home a hamburger, and I know that when they come out of that machine, you can see. I swear, there's that much grease in the bottom of that
Oh,
pan. Probably an inch of grease when them burgers come out of that.
So even though you're a manager, my advice is don't eat at Burger King.
Right, exactly.
Oh, they're french fries.
The smell, everything smells good, but.
Yeah. Okay, so if we're happy to see her back anytime.
Okay.
If it changes, if the symptoms just keep recurring. So if she gets it, not the back that she's having now, but she gets a big pain in this area and it just won't go away, she should, even though you've been to the ER, you should probably go there again because she has the known stone. And it's possible to move down there and become a more acute situation.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you,
My pleasure. Yeah,
Appreciate
nice
it.
to meet you.
Thank
and
you.
and especially you.
Thank you, ladies.
Yeah. Good luck with your back.